Many migrants have lost their lives while trying to get to Europe. That is why members of the United Nations have agreed on a set of principles that will ensure safe migration routes.
This global compact of migration is well balanced in the sense that it takes into account the interest of countries of origins, countries of transit, and countries of destination.
This is a great achievement because it's the first time within the United Nations framework that we have such an agreement on migration.
I think at the European level, we are still in the aftermath of the 2014-15 refugee crisis, and it is clear that the European perspective is still dominated by the idea of trying to restrain migrants from the global south to arrive in Europe. But I do think that this global agreement might be one way to move away from that very limiting view of what migration is about, to actually think more about the productive value of the circulation of labor on a global level.
During the Nordic Africa Days, scholars and policymakers discussed this global compact on migration.
Now the biggest challenge that I see is that it is, as is being discussed, it's not legally binding, and there is also very little set out at this point in terms of concrete steps that are going to be taken or can be taken to meet those action points that are laid out.
There are some serious constraints in the current framework. Not only the problem of separating refugees from migrants in these agreements, but also in lacking a clear connection between these very broad visions of how migration could be regulated to actual implementation. So there's a lot of potential, but it is very unclear up until now how these broad visions might actually be implemented in practice.
Some say the focus should be on the root causes to migration, that more development aid to poor countries would avoid people wanting to migrate. But is it that simple?
Research has shown that migration often is increased thanks to development. It gives more people the opportunity and the interest of seeking chances of income and better life opportunities abroad. So in the long term and historically, we have seen actually that migration increases due to development.
I think addressing issues of poverty or the reasons that lead to people seeking a better situation elsewhere, whether it's poverty, conflict, inequality, corruption, other issues of lack of safety, need to be addressed in their own right. I don't think they should be addressed because of their relation to migration. And in fact, as we see today, the poorest of the poor do not have the possibility to migrate, so they're not the ones who are migrating. And so that is some of the paradoxes and the dilemmas and contradictions that need to be maybe addressed in a more realistic way at some point of this global compact.
In Morocco, later this year, the Global Compact for Migration will be officially adopted. Morocco has for long been a transit country, but has now changed its policy on how to deal with migration.
Migrants spend a lot of time in Morocco attending or waiting for the possibility, the opportunity to go to Europe. There are people that are waiting for 8-10 years. So this is no more transit. This is destination and residing in Morocco. So Morocco is implement this new strategy. First of all, to document these immigrants, so to regularize them, and second, to give them opportunities and programs for integration in Moroccan society.